Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to update you guys on my new nurse journey. As many of you guys know, I started my residency internship. There's so many different names for it. Well, they're all technically different things, and I can't go more into detail into that in this video, but I just wanted to update you guys on my new nurse journey. I know it's been a while since I've updated, since I've uploaded. There's been a lot going on. It's been a little crazy, but I just wanted it to be more of a chit chat and talk about many different things about how my past few weeks have gone. If you don't know, I started my nurse residency internship about 3 weeks ago, and it's been hectic. It's been a lot. It's been overwhelming, which is hence the lack of videos, but it's been great. It's been awesome. I wanted to go a little bit more into detail about what I've been doing, how my program works, and yeah, just kind of walk this with you, tell you guys how I feel to be a nurse now in the hospital, and you know, my experience and what I've done, what I've been able to do, my preceptors and stuff like that. I know a lot of you guys are gonna ask me what unit I'm on, and I can't talk about that just yet. There is a specific reason. I promise you, once I tell you guys, it'll all make so much more sense, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about my actual internship and residency and kind of go a little bit more into detail, because I had no idea what an internship, residency, all of those words meant when I was applying for jobs and before I got into this position. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about that, a little bit more about the things that I've been using, how I've been feeling. So as you can probably hear, I am sick. So my second week of okay, so let's just start from the beginning. So my first week was actually an orientation week. So I wasn't in the hospital on the floor at all my first week. So we had education classes. The way that my program works, at first 90 days, we are actually in an internship. So what that means is that we are stipend. So we are getting paid a specific amount of money every 2 weeks, no matter how many hours we work. It does have to be between 36 to 40 hours though. So we are stipend at a specific pay for 90 days. And that's basically a trial for you to go into your unit, work at your unit, see if you mesh well with people mesh well with you. It's basically just seeing how you work as a nurse. And at the end of the internship, if they want to, they can proceed with your employment or they can decline your employment. At my hospital, what they say is basically everybody, you know, gets hired on. But technically it is a trial period, hence why it's called an internship. And during this 90-day period, you have a preceptor. So a preceptor is just a nurse that you're basically with during these 90 days. So the way that my program works is we have kind of a schedule. It's not really a set schedule, but as the weeks go on, you pick up more responsibilities, you pick up more patients, and by the end of the 90 days, depending on whatever unit you're on, you're gonna have the same amount of patients as you would if you were a regular floor nurse on your own, so that you can feel 100% comfortable. And of course, during those 90 days, you're with that person, that preceptor. You could have several different preceptors or one preceptor. Like I said, it just depends on your hospital, your unit. So that's what my internship is. And then we are residents for a year. So the meaning of a residency program, a nurse residency program, is basically to have a support system. So every single month after the internship, we actually have a meeting with our educator. We have a meeting with our it's so hard to explain. So we meet with different people within our hospital. So my hospital is a little different because we have 14, 15 hospitals within our city, and those hospitals are actually split up depending on how close they are, and then you meet with those specific people with an educator and basically just talk about anything that you have going on as a new nurse within your first year. So it's basically just a comfort thing. Another thing that I forgot to mention, during your internship, we also have education classes. So my first week of orientation, we actually had some education classes. We had an introduction to our hospital, an introduction to the policies, introductions to benefits, and all that stuff. So it was a lot of, you know, things like that. So half of it, we actually met with every single hospital within our med surge, because I am med surge. I can say that. I am within a med surge unit. So they put like L&D, NICU, and like all these different people within the med surge topic, I guess, even though I don't know the specific to all that, but basically they grouped us all together. So we've been going to education classes in a building that our hospital owns, and we've been getting all those education classes. So they just group us all together and then send us to these education classes. So that's what we did our first week. And then the last 2 days, we actually had orientation at our own hospital. So of course, every single hospital has different policies on different things. Every hospital works differently, even though we all work within the same company. Every hospital is going to have a different policy for different things. So it was a little bit more of an introduction to the hospital, where to park, blah, blah, blah. So that was my first week. Okay, now we're on to week 2. Week 2, we had 2 education classes, and then I personally had 2 clinical days. So my education classes were each 8 hours, and then my clinical days were obviously 12. So I was at exactly 40 hours for the week, which was very overwhelming. I got sick. I didn't take my vitamins. I really didn't sleep a lot because your nerves really get to you, since you're literally on the floor and you're a new nurse, and there's just a lot of pressure and a lot of, being scared. You hear horrors about preceptors or your unit, and you just don't know what to expect. It's just the fear of not knowing what to expect. So, you're meeting your new coworkers for the first time. You're hoping, that it works out well. You just really don't know. And I'm the type of person where I lose sleep whenever I'm nervous. So I really didn't sleep a lot. I worked a lot. I worked 40 hours. I have never in my life worked 40 hours somewhere. So it was very physically and mentally draining. So I got sick, hence me. And that was actually 2 weeks ago. So I've been sick for 2 weeks, and don't worry, I don't have the freaking coronavirus. I don't want to hear about it anymore. But yeah, so I got sick. My first day with my preceptor wasn't, my first day with my preceptor, I basically just observed. So that was kind of what I did. And then my second day, I actually had a different preceptor, and I really, really enjoyed being with her because she let me do absolutely everything, kind of walk me through everything. But yeah, and then I have had 3 preceptors in total. So my third preceptor is the one that I was with last week and this week. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on the topic a little bit of how I have felt as a new nurse in the hospital and being with a preceptor. So I've had many different emotions in being with a preceptor and being at the hospital as a new nurse, because people don't really know some people really just don't know what to do with you, some preceptors. And you really want to be with a preceptor that, knows what to do with you and knows how to train you, because not everybody is meant to be a teacher. Not everybody is meant to be a trainer. So, I don't want to say too much or bash or anything like that, but some people really just didn't know what to do with me, and it was really awkward because I'd want to go answer call lights and like, no, don't do it. Just, you got it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So that happened to me one of my days, which was fine. It's my first couple weeks, so I just sat at the nursing station for literally half the day, probably more than half the day. And it was just horrible. So I did have that day, and then I've had other days where I've just been on my feet every single day, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I got to do many different procedures. I can tell you guys a little bit of what I've done. I've already done an admission, I've done a discharge, I did teaching for discharge, I've taken report from a transferring patient on the phone, I've done a, what's that called? A shift change report coming in and leaving. I've done a good amount of things. I've taken out staples from somebody's head, which was cool. Taken out an IV, which I've done that a million times. It was really cool though, taking out the staples. I was super nervous, but it was pretty awesome. And what else have I done? I've given a bunch of meds, a bunch of injections. That's a lot of what I've done. But of course, as I go on, I'm going to do a lot more. But it has been really fun. It's been very exhausting. I feel like I'm the type of person where I like to know absolutely everything. So even when I give medications, like, I don't ever want to give a medication that I don't know what it is. And if a patient were to ask me, what does this do? I don't want to be like, oh, let me check. Because then they're going to be like, why don't you know? So I feel like I'm a little hard on myself at times. And I feel like that's something that nurses in general, nursing students are kind of like that, because we not everybody, but people like me, like, I like to know everything. So I spend a lot of time like researching and looking up meds, writing down notes. So it's kind of a lot of work, and it's kind of overwhelming just because there's so much to learn. I have never been at this hospital before, so everything to me is like brand new. On my unit, we have a bunch of different codes for a bunch of different storage places, and then you have to try to figure out where everything is, what the policy is for the unit. So it's just been very overwhelming in that aspect. And then of course trying to meet your new coworkers and trying to figure everything else out. And I feel like you kind of just want to prove yourself that you are, you know, a nurse, and that you can do everything, and that you can be trustworthy. And at least I feel like that. I feel like I have a sense of wanting to prove myself, because many people hear, oh, I'm a nurse intern, and they're kind of like, what are you, a student? And I'm like, no, I am a registered nurse. Like, don't take that title away from me. But I feel like sometimes that's kind of how you're treated. Of course, it depends on the person, but some people are like, no, you're a nurse. Some people are like, you really don't know anything. Are you even a nurse? Blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of like fighting that and trying to stay, I don't know, trying to stay like on top of all that, you know? I feel like it's just a lot of different opinions, a lot of different people, a lot of new. You don't really have any sense of control over your environment, which I love to have control over my environment. I love to have control over my patients, the way things are done. And that's also something that I wanted to touch on when it comes to your preceptors, because every single nurse does everything different. It doesn't matter what it is. Every single nurse has a different process, has a different way of giving meds, has a different way of doing absolutely everything. So sometimes when I jump around between nurses, they're like, you're not supposed to do that, you're supposed to do this. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, well, the last person told me to do that, you know? And then you go to somebody else and they're like, you're not supposed to do that, you're supposed to do this. And it's just like, gosh, you guys, like, I am obviously learning from a million different people. Like, who do you believe? And you know, I don't want to say that in a negative way, because of course it's not a negative thing. It's just every nurse is very different. But the least, I've been exhausted. I come home from a 12 and I am absolutely exhausted. I've come home from a 12 and had the worst headache, migraine ever. I have been sick, which is really frustrating. Don't worry, I haven't had a fever or anything. It's kind of just been like a cold, but I feel like my body hasn't able to recuperate as well, because I have been so stressed, and then I am not sleeping as much as I normally do. And obviously my body's not used to doing this much physical work, okay? I don't remember the last time I did this much physical work, okay? So yeah, I have been on top of the gym though, which is absolutely amazing. On my 12s, I don't go to the gym, of course, but on my days off, I definitely do, and I love it. It's just such a good release. It feels so freaking good. I am so motivated. I know I had talked about before on some of my vlogs that I wanted to do a get healthy, like get fit after nursing school, which I still really want to do, and I can if you guys are still interested in that. I know we talked about this a long time ago and never went through, but if you guys are interested, I'd absolutely love it. I'm trying to get on my feet and kind of get a set schedule, but it's really hard because as a nurse intern, your schedule is just constantly changing, and you know, every day is different. Every single day is different. But oh, I did want to talk to you guys about some of the things that I've gotten, like what I've loved. I know I talked about what's in my nurse bag and stuff like that, so I wanted to add on to that things that I have like added on to feel good about, you know, my job and stuff. So some of the things that I wanted to add: headbands. Freaking love. I love me some headbands. I like to have my hair down personally, but of course if I'm doing a procedure or anything, I'll pull it back. But really, I used to think as a nursing student, like, how do people have their hair down, blah blah blah, and like honestly it really doesn't bother me. So I love to have a headband just to pull my hair back and out of my face. So I've been loving that. I've also been loving my vitamins. Since I got sick my second week, I was like, okay, I need to stock up on my vitamins, because obviously my body is taking a hit right now, very, very hard hit, you know, so I need to be on my vitamins. So I've been taking several different vitamins that I just wanted to talk about. I'm not going to show you guys anything specific other than one, but I have been taking fish oil, I've been taking vitamin D, I've been taking my hair, skin, and nails, because, I mean, my prenatal, which is basically your hair, skin, and nails, and I have been taking, what else am I taking? Fish oil. I don't remember what else. Dang it, now I can't remember. So those three I've been taking, and then I just recently started taking this fun guy, which I'm sure you guys have heard of it before if you are on Instagram. So this is Alani News Balance, and if you guys have not heard of this product, it is amazing. I took it like last year, but it was kind of a little bit out of my budget. It's kind of expensive. It's $50 for 30 capsules, so it's $50 for a month basically. I mean 30 servings, so it's $50 for basically a month. But you guys, if you guys read the reviews, amazing reviews. I don't know if this is TMI, but I stopped getting on birth control about 4 months ago, I got off birth control and my face has been absolutely horrible. Like I said, this is kind of just like a life and job update, but I don't know if this is TMI, if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, but I got off my birth control and my face has just been going berserk. I feel like my body's been going crazy. Like my body's just like, what are we doing? I was on birth control for 3 years, so, and I just got tired of putting chemicals, you know, hormones into my body every single day, so I stopped taking them. And I have just been breaking out horribly. Obviously I'm wearing makeup and you can still see, even with makeup, you can still see, which I don't wear full coverage foundation just because I don't like the feeling of it. But you can see all of my scars because I have been breaking out so bad, even through my makeup. You know, this camera does a good job of kind of hiding it when I look straight on, and my hair too, but I'm not, you know, afraid to show you guys. And then without makeup, it's just really red and irritated, and my face has just not been the same for 4 months since I stopped taking it, and I feel like my hormones still haven't regulated yet, which I know it takes about 6 months. So I started reading about this guy, Balance, and if you guys haven't heard of it, go to Alani Nu's Instagram, which that's the name right there, Alani Nu, and read about the results and how this has helped so many people. So I decided to try it again, and now that I'm obviously working, this is kind of like a treat for myself. I know it's kind of expensive, but you know, my face means obviously everything to me since this is what I show. And as a nurse, I prefer to not wear makeup on my face, but since I've been so bad, I just feel like I look like a mess if I don't wear makeup, honestly, to be completely truthful. I like to look very presentable when I'm at work because I am at work and I'm taking care of patients and I value my job very much. And it's just, of course, a personal opinion, but yeah, so I started taking this. So I wanted to mention this to you guys because I feel like, you know, I want to see the changes. Of course, I can update you guys if you guys are interested in hearing my journey with Balance, but that is another thing that I've also added on. Okay, guys, I'm back. I grabbed a bunch of stuff that I've been using that I haven't talked about, and I just wanted to update you guys because obviously as I keep being a nurse, I'm going to pick up different things and I want to share them all with you guys. Hold on, I need to catch my breath. I just ran upstairs. So, some of the other things that I want to talk to you guys are my compression socks. So, what compression socks I've been using. So, funny story, I actually bought these Texas socks on Amazon because I had a friend that wears them and she's like, get them, they're super cute, they're on Amazon. So I ordered a pair of the pink ones. I'd show you guys the pink ones, which are my, like, I love that color. But I wore them yesterday, so obviously I'm not gonna pull them out of the dirty laundry. So these are what they look like. These are just the TX socks. Did I call them Texas socks? Oh my gosh, they're TX socks. Sorry. Maybe it does mean Texas. Whatever, TX socks, and this is what they look like. They have a bunch of different colors. I brought these two. They have black, they have pink, which I wore yesterday, and these are freaking bomb, you guys. You guys, I don't care how young you are, wear your compression socks when you're at work and when you're at clinical. This is such a big thing. A lot of nurses, when I started nursing school, was like, whatever, I don't need no compression socks, blah, blah, blah. Like, people that were telling me this were older. And I was like, I'm fine, I'm young. And then went to my hospital and all these younger nurses were like, wear your damn compression socks because we all have veins on our legs that none of us wanted. So I wear my compression socks every single day, and I just love this brand. So my friend told me to get them, and then I bought a pair, and then they reached out to me if I would like to get more, and I freaking said yes. So they sent me a bunch of more of their colors, which I was gonna order anyways. So I'm super excited. This is the green one, and then this is the lilac. And they're so pretty. I just love the color. They feel so good. They keep your feet dry. They're just amazing. They're the perfect amount of compression. You don't feel like you're literally being strangled, like your legs are being strangled. They just feel very comfortable, and I love them. And then I've been pairing my compression socks with my my Brooks, and these are what they look like. So I got these on Brooks.com, or my mom got them for me, actually. I didn't buy these. My mom got these for me from Brooks.com, and these are the Adrenaline, I think. Yeah, these are the Adrenaline GTS 19, and she got these on Brooks.com, and oh my goodness. Get you some Brooks when you start working as a nurse, or if you can get them now as a student. If you have never tried these, they're gonna change your life. And I know that the color is very light, but I am gonna spray them with that one spray that doesn't allow things to stick. But I had a 12.5-hour shift yesterday and my feet weren't hurting at all, you guys. I literally felt like I was walking on clouds all freaking day because of these shoes and because of my compression socks. So these are super freaking important to wear, especially since we're not used to being on our feet as new nurses. Highly, highly, highly recommend. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was my lunchbox. This pretty gal is from Sam's Club, and what I love about this lunchbox is that it is absolutely huge. So you can open it here, and obviously you can close it if it's not all the way full, and it is freaking ginormous. The brand is called Dabney Lee, which is right there. So if you guys want to look these up on Amazon, I absolutely love it. Super cute, fits literally everything. You can stick anything in here. I stick my vitamins in here so that I don't forget to take them now. But yeah, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. But that's my update. That's everything that I wanted to talk about with you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and thank you guys so much for hanging out with me.